Welcome to this demonstration video on setting up your off-premise station. Each restaurant layout is different and we have limited space to work with. Each restaurant services different aggregators, sometimes servicing more than one aggregator at the same time. And associates are juggling different tasks, not knowing how to prioritize. By creating an off-premise station in your restaurant, you're simply creating a dedicated area that will service guests, allowing you to provide the perfect Harvey's experience for guests for all off-premise channels, which includes aggregators and mobile order and pay. When setting up your off-premise station, there are two things you need to consider. First, the garnish space. Second, pickup area for the guest. Let's start by reviewing the garnish space in your restaurant. Your off-premise station will require space on the front line garnish counter. The off-premise station should utilize both garnish station 1 and garnish station 3. By setting up your off-premise station at garnish station 3, this will allow the associate to service the aggregator and mobile order and pay orders during peak periods, while also allowing them to jump onto cache 2 and return to garnish 3 when needed. Garnish Station 1 will be more utilized during non-peak times and closing times, allowing the associate to service guests in the dining room, along with aggregator and mobile order and pay orders. For restaurants with 2 garnish stations, the off-premise station should be situated in between garnish 1 and 2. This will allow the associate to focus on aggregator and mobile order and pay orders without getting in the way of other garnishers. To ensure this station is set up as efficient as possible, set up condiments such as straws, napkins, packets of ketchup, salt and pepper at the off-premise station. Having these items readily available will eliminate the need for the associate to leave their position. Depending on your aggregator and mobile orders, you may want to set up a dedicated station in another area of your restaurant. This will require an additional investment in labor and equipment. Requirements include a dedicated open-top fridge, half the size of the drive-thru unit, metro shelving, additional labor, electrical for the frontline garnish KDS, and a POS printer. The pickup area for the guest should be situated at the end of the frontline counter by garnish station 1. Ideally, this area will allow the associate to stage all orders ready for pickup. This will also avoid having the guest wait in line, making the experience convenient and fast. There are a few small wares required to ensure that the operations for the off-premise station is seamless from the restaurant perspective as well as from the guest perspective. The small wares include in-restaurant signage, chit rails, frontline garnish KDS, stickers and sticker holder, and a hot holding thermal bag. The signage developed for mobile order and pay simply communicates to the guest where to pick up their order in restaurant. The signage should be placed along the front line area where it is visible to all guests entering the restaurant from any door. The dimensions of the in-restaurant signage is 11.9 inches by 17 inches. The mobile order and pay signage can be utilized in 3 different ways. Option 1, which is the preferred placement of the signage, is hung from the ceiling. Option 2, hung from the wall. Your last option is to place the signage on the garnish counter if there is no ceiling or wall space available. The dimensions of the chit rail is 18 inches wide by 2 inches in height by 3/4 inches in depth. Each restaurant should have 2 chit rails to be placed at the garnish counters. Heavy-duty double-sided tape will be required to mount the chit rails. These can also be screwed into the garnish counters. Make sure when installing the chit rails, the top is flush or lower than the top sneeze guards. This allows the trays and bags to move freely along the sneeze guard shelf. During peak periods, place the kitchen chit on the rail that is positioned at garnish station 3. This will allow your associates to focus on aggregator and mobile order and pay orders. During non-peak periods, as the restaurant starts to close down stations, place the kitchen chit on the rail that is positioned between garnish station 2 and 1. This will allow your associates to service guests in the dining room along with aggregator and mobile order and pay orders. The dimensions of the frontline garnish KDS. The ideal position for the frontline garnish KDS is between garnish station 3 and 2 on the shelf support stand. The placement of the frontline garnish KDS should be utilized the same way as the chit rails during peak periods. The frontline garnish KDS requires a bracket which can easily be attached to the support stand of the counter. Once the bracket has been securely installed, place the frontline garnish KDS on the bracket. The frontline garnish counter KDS will require a power source and must be kept fully charged and turned on at all times during your business hours. All mobile order and pay and aggregator orders will appear on the frontline garnish KDS. The touchscreen will allow the orders to be bumped from the KDS, which will also trigger a notification to the guest that their food is ready. As part of your off-premise station, you will also need to set up your sticker holder and stickers. Both stickers can be used for all aggregator orders as well as mobile order and pay orders. Simply write the name of the guest or the order number on the provided line and mark the box according to the type of order. This information can be located on the kitchen chit. All mobile order and pay orders will indicate how many items are placed for the particular order. Using a marker, simply write 1, 2, or 3, depending on how many burgers, sandwiches, or wraps are ordered, and then place it on the wrapped burger. The hot holding thermal bag is a great solution for restaurants to keep multiple prepared orders warm and ready for pickup. Prior to setting up the hot holding thermal bag, make sure that there is a power source close by as it will need to be plugged in. The hot holding thermal bag can be loaded from the top as well as on the side. Creating an off-premise station in your restaurant will benefit your restaurant and associates in many ways. Having this station set up in your restaurant will keep your associates focused on garnishing aggregator and mobile order and pay orders. Taking guest orders at cash 2 when there are no aggregator and mobile order and pay orders to prepare. Garnish orders at garnish station 3 when the garnish queue is full and there are no aggregator and mobile order and pay orders to prepare. The Harvey's position chart has been updated to reflect the primary and secondary responsibilities of this associate. This will help the associate prioritize different tasks that they need to juggle during their shift. Setting up your off-premise station will not cost you a fortune. It is simply just maximizing the space available to you that will allow for this kind of setup. As mentioned at the beginning of this video, each restaurant layout is different and space is limited. But if it can be accommodated, your associates will work more efficiently while providing the perfect Harvey's experience for guests for all off-premise channels, which includes aggregators and mobile order and pay. This concludes the demonstration video. If you have any further questions, please contact your business development manager.